Hello and a warm welcome to all of the students who are joining us today. Welcome to the session with the University of Derby. Thank you so much for being here. A couple of housekeeping rules before we kickstart the session. If we can ask all students to please stay on mute till the end of the session, you will have an opportunity to ask questions as well. So you can always put your questions in the chat box. Keep chatting with us throughout the course of the session. You can keep asking us questions, let us know where you're from, and anything interesting that you'd like to share. A warm welcome to Chris as well, who's going to be presenting this session from the University of Derby. So over to you, Chris, and we're ready whenever you are. Thank you so much for hosting the session today.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Chris Wyke, and I'm an international officer at the University of Derby. And welcome to this session. During the session, I'm just going to cover the key reasons why we think a student should choose the University of Derby as their first choice of where to study in the UK. I'll provide you with a little bit of an introduction to the university, followed by an overview of our city, some details about academia and teaching, our campus sites and facilities, and what makes Derby graduates so employable. I'll also give you a little bit of information about accommodation, where you would live, and something about some information about financial support options available, about our tuition fees, as well as our scholarships and discounts as well. Presentation should last around 25 minutes to 30 minutes, and that will leave time for questions afterwards. Right, so the University of Derby is a much loved second home to around currently 2,200 international students from over 100 different countries, which, as you can imagine, creates a diverse and multicultural student community. We are part of the 1992 group of universities, but we've actually been educating students since 1851. The institution originally was a teacher training college back in those days. We offer a lot of quality courses, which is signified by our high rankings in many subject areas, as well as a great study experience with world-class facilities and a fantastic place to live in our award-winning accommodation. Most asked question initially, whether in the UK or overseas, is where is Derby? So the University of Derby is based in the city of Derby, which is the most central city in England, right in the heart. So it's in an excellent position to access all the UK has to offer. It's the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, we're proud to be building on our region's heritage and innovation with industry-relevant expert teaching and world-leading research. Our location mixes the best of city living with the ability to explore one of the most stunning national parks in the country, right on the doorstep of our campuses, the Peak District. We're only 90 minutes away from both London and Manchester, and 35 minutes from Birmingham, situated in an area of the country known as the East Midlands, and ideally situated for all aspects of student life and easily accessible from a number of international airports. Derby is one of the most affordable cities in the UK. The city of Derby has purple flag status. This is in recognition of it being a welcoming and safe place with lots going on for international students to really experience British culture. There are plenty of shops, restaurants and bars, entertainment venues and parks, including Mark Eaton Park, you can see on the left here, which is just across the road from our main site at Kettleston Road. An ideal spot for a stroll or lunch. We have a league football team, Derby County, as well as a county cricket side, and one of 5 cycling velodromes in the country is in the city, if you like your sport. A lively, multicultural city, Derby is home to major multinational companies such as Rolls-Royce and Toyota. As Europe's largest rail hub, Derby will soon become the heart of Great Britain's rail industry, to bringing track and train together and delivering high-skilled jobs to a city already brimming with the best talent in the technology industry. As only recently, Derby has been named as the national headquarters of Great British Railways. So Derby is sort of a medium-sized city with a population of around 270,000. It is compact and easy to get around. We are a mix between campus and city university. The university buildings span what's called the University Quarter within the city. Within this, you are never far from a building or halls, and there are lots of signs to stop you getting lost. Some examples: Kelton Road site is currently home to our business school, our health and social care courses, as well as our sports centre, multi-faith centre, largest library, a union of students, and our own medical practice. Just a short walk or free bus ride from there, you'll find Mark Eaton Street, which is home to our engineering, computing and maths courses, as well as some of our art, design, media and performing arts. Britannia Mill provides special studios for things like screen painting, letterpress facilities, and is used by students on a number of arts and creative therapies courses. It also offers one of the best art and design libraries in the UK. One Friargate Square, also you can see here, is home to our law, criminology, policing, social and political science courses. Facilities there include replica courts, interview rooms, and a student legal advice centre. And as you can see from this little map here, all of those are within walking distance of each other, our halls of residence and also the city centre. So there's no need to use public transport. Everything is within walking distance. Of course, as a university, we're ever evolving and trying to improve the student experience. And one of the new major developments we're embarking on is the creation of a new business school. So a brand new state-of-art, future-focused Derby Business School, which will be serving as an international centre of excellence, is due to open next year. This will provide a place where our talented students and expert academics can work together, learn from and inspire local business leaders and entrepreneurs. Startups, small businesses will be able to access this expertise and facilities on their doorstep to hopefully support and nurture their growth. It is also a prime example of how we take our responsibility to the environment seriously too, and we are working towards a net zero carbon construction and operation for this building. And its location again is very close to the halls of residence, means that students can walk or cycle easily, creating again a healthy community options as part of our overall goal of a net zero active campus. So what do we offer at Derby? So the University of Derby offers a range of study options from foundation right through to degree, MA, MSc and MRes programs through to the MBA and DBA, and of course, PhD research opportunities. We also have a very large online portfolio through the University of Derby Online Learning, or otherwise known as UDOL. Our institution consists of 4 colleges, a College of Arts, Humanities and Education, Business Law and Social Sciences, Health Psychology and Social Care, Science and Engineering, finally. And these are then made up of 10 schools, as well as an Institute of Education and Centre of Contemporary Hospitality and Tourism. This then allows study opportunities at Derby in more than 45 subject areas. The quality of our teaching facilities at Derby also ensures that students are experiencing environments and technology on par with the highest levels of current industries. Some examples of these you can see in these pictures, but also other examples include a forensic house with 7 replica crime scenes and a blood splatter room, obviously for our forensic science students, our criminology students to use. That's then linked to what we also have in the way of a purpose-built Crown courtroom, which again is used by the forensic students, but also our law students, our policing students to role play court proceedings. We have a fully operational stock exchange environment in our Bloomberg Financial Markets labs. An NHS standard hospital ward and clinical skills suite on campus. We own and run Derby Theatre, a working commercial theatre in the city, so obviously used by our performing arts students. Here on the left of this slide, you can see our new £11 million sports centre, which includes state-of-the-art gym, fitness classes, climbing walls, squash, tennis courts. And here you can see a 4G football pitch, and above the site also there's a 3G football pitch. These facilities are available for students during their social and downtime, but also are used by our sports science students as well. We have also other examples of facilities include our computer games lab, fully serviced music production studio and media suite, our specialist facilities for fashion and textiles, and we have a brand new science, technology and mathematics building at our Mark Eaton site, which is there to develop, take students right from 16-year-olds in school to get interested in science, right up to high-end research and development. So as well as those teaching facilities, there are a number of other fantastic facilities at the university, like a selection of places to eat and drink, especially useful for those like me who are not so au fait with cooking themselves, as most halls of residence are self-catering. This includes the Base Camp Coffee Shop, which is actually run by the students, the Union of Students, which you'll hear about a bit later, and it's a great place to meet your friends and do some work or just chill out. With a friendly atmosphere for all. As well as those, you'll find many study places for both individuals and group work, as well as a very well-stocked library, the Multi-Faith Centre for those who would like to practice their faith, and our new International Student Hub, where you can get help and advice whilst you study, a key place to remember. So we've talked a little bit about facilities, but also Derby University has a significant strength in teaching and learning, which is reflected in its achievements as being rated one of the top establishments in the country for academic experience. One of the reasons our students have such a great academic experience throughout their study is, of course, due to the quality and professionalism of our teaching. Our courses have been built by professional and academic experts with employability and up-to-date content firmly in mind. A great number of academics have come from industry or are still involved in industry, so they know what it takes to succeed in their specialist areas. They're aware of the latest industry trends and developments and what employers will be looking for once you've graduated. We are now have spent the last 3 to 5 years really prioritizing developing our research, leading to world-leading and internationally excellent in 10 research areas, which was submitted in the recent Research Excellence Framework. And this is culminated in us being awarded a grant for a new biomedical science super lab. Our amazing facilities are provided for one reason above all others: to improve the employment and opportunities for our students. Derby students are award winners, innovators, game changers. They are receiving national and international recognition for their work, embarking on life-changing placements both in the UK and overseas to destinations such as India, Japan, and New Zealand. And closer to home, they're utilising their skills and expertise to make a positive impact in the local community. Derby is award-winning in those areas. There are various ways of learning whilst you study at Derby. So you will have, of course, the face-to-face lectures. We still have some virtual lectures. Blended learning is something we realise works for some students, and that is a positive legacy of COVID. You will sometimes require work on case studies, both on your own and in groups. There are role play sessions. I mentioned a little bit about role playing cases in the law courts, particularly in postgraduate students. Debates are very often used. You'll have online discussion. You'll develop presentation skills. Inquiry-based learning, problem-solving activities. You'll have industry seminars, so seminars by people from the industry, so experts coming in to talk to you about your subject area, employment opportunities afterwards. Guest speakers, as well as guest lecturers, and also business visits as well, so related to your course. So lots of different ways how you can learn at the university and on the University of Derby. And then also, this also leads to the different methods of assessment as well. So you will have research projects, there are computer-aided tests, you'll have work-based reports you'll need to also case study analysis and reflective reports, as well as more traditional things like exams and essays. So, but of course, the degree or master's is only part of the student story. Derby supports students to apply their learning with relevant work experience, placements, real-world brief, business tours, competition, study trips and visits, tailored support, including CV workshops, employer events, career seminars, and online support to make sure graduates are job ready and shine in a competitive marketplace. Our employment section also will help students get ready for the graduate route and offer full career service both whilst you're studying and for at least 3 years after you've graduated as well. As an international student on a student visa, as you all know, you are entitled to work up to 20 hours per week during study time and full time in the holidays. So another part of our employment and careers service is our student employment agency is to help students find part-time work whilst they're studying, both related to the subject they're studying, but also if they need jobs to perhaps help with the cost of food or accommodation or something like that. But they also offer you support, including writing CVs and cover letters for when you're graduated, when you're looking for those, as I mentioned, graduate route jobs or full-time employment. Here you can see some of the strong industry links we have with employers across the spectrum, from charities to councils, SMEs to major multinational firms. We have key partners across the city and region, including, mentioned before, Toyota, Bombardier, and Rolls-Royce. As a result of these partnerships, the university has a good reputation for applied learning and industry-relevant degree programs, offering our over 20,000 students unparalleled opportunities to gain professional work experience alongside their studies. So moving on to accommodation. So students would say, where would I live? So most of our halls of residence, as mentioned before, are short distance from campus and within easy reach of the city centre. Most first years tend to live in halls and rooms, which are grouped into flats with shared kitchens and either have a shared bathroom or an ensuite. Rent is all inclusive, no separate bills, and we're winning awards for our student accommodation. Living in halls is a great way for international students to live in a safe environment and make new friends through organised events and activities. But if students do prefer to rent private property or perhaps are bringing dependents, so would have to do so, we can help find the right place through our accredited landlord scheme, which you will find on our website. Please, I would, with the current cost of living, advise students to, when they're comparing halls of residence to private accommodation, to make sure they factor into all costs. Because of course, as mentioned, accommodation is all bills inclusive, but a private accommodation, you'll often have to pay things separately. So please make sure you do your work when comparing the different types of accommodation. So the majority of students who come to university initially, we often have some concerns about either fitting in or making friends when they start. So there are many different support networks available if you're thinking that you may struggle at university. There is academic support. So when you start at university, you are assigned a personal tutor who will be your tutor for the duration of your studies. This personal tutor is there to support your progress, extend deadlines for extenuating circumstances, find help work experience, and to be somebody you can go to with any concerns about your course at all. There are then things like library support. So you will have special subject librarians who can help access books and periodicals and information related to your course. They can help with things like reference writing and also help with academic writing and note taking. Also, as previously mentioned, doctor's surgery or GP surgery, which is available to all students, is on campus. It's based at our Kelton Road site. We have our student wellbeing service, so they offer free and confidential service to all students, including things like supporting health from long-term health problems, right down to as basic as how to get a good night's sleep. They can help with time management support. They're the ones that provide support for learning difficulties such as dyslexia, dyspraxia. They can give advice and support for mature students, student parents, or students with caring responsibilities. And they're very good at supporting students with any sort of mental health issues or any other disabilities. We also at Derby have a SMART team. So that's the Student Money Advice and Rights team, who can provide financial advice, including things like budgeting workshops for students. I've mentioned a little bit about the Careers Employment Service. So they are there to help you find a part-time job whilst you're studying, your graduate job, but also to support you throughout your studies and afterwards with things like CVs, interview and assessment centre techniques. And then there's the Multi-Faith Centre. So whether you have religious questions or just need to talk things through, we have a team of chaplains and faith consultants who are on hand to help on campus with both male and female prayer rooms available. Finally, but no means least, we have the Derby English Language Centre, which offers students the opportunity to develop their English language skills through a range of pre-sessional and free in-sessional courses. They work closely with students to help improve their academic writing, presentation skills, pronunciation and grammar, amongst many other things. Also, for those students who may have a conditional offer on English language, then please see the availability of the Oxford International English Language Test, ELLT, which we accept and offer on as a discount to applicants who use this whilst applying to study at Derby. Here you can also see the standard IELTS requirement and also some of the courses available for students who are not quite ready to start degrees, as well as the English language. We have the International Foundation Programme as well for students that perhaps didn't get the grades to get the first year degrees or come from countries where when they complete school, they don't have a qualification equivalent to A levels. The next few slides is just some pictures and some information about how the way students can get involved with university life, because it's not just about studying. You need to have downtime, you need to have fun as well whilst you're studying. So we have, as mentioned before, the Union of Students, and the student supports and runs more than 150 sports clubs and societies. You can join one of the cultural groups like Derby Worldwide, Nigerian Student Society, Afro-Caribbean, Spanish, where you can meet other international students. Think of a sport and there's probably a club here for it. So from individual sports like archery, boxing, through to American football, dodgeball and cheerleading, to name but a few. Take part in a lot of different celebrations of different cultures throughout the year. You'll find a calendar of events that you can join in. So make sure you, as well as your studies, you enjoy yourself while during your time at university. And just a few more pictures here. You can see our students after graduation. Currently, the graduation ceremony takes place at the cycling velodrome. You can see on the left there, and here's a few students after they've graduated from the university from different courses and different parts of the world. So how much will it cost to study at the University of Derby? So our undergraduate and postgraduate fees are competitively priced, we feel, and offer good value for money. Now, we have a standard cost for most of our courses, though they will vary depending on the mode of study. For example, online studies would be cheaper than campus. But for the latest fees information, please see individual course pages where you will see the cost for the course you're applying for. We also offer a range of discounts and scholarships for international students. Full details, again, available on our website, but I've picked out a few of the most popular ones. So the Vice Chancellor Scholarship is for 1 full year's fees, tuition fees waived, and is available for both undergraduate and postgraduate. To be considered for these, students would need to achieve high academic results, exceeding the entry criteria, and demonstrate exceptional achievements in perhaps extracurricular activity, English language, etc., either in their own time or through their employment in the last 2 years. We also have further scholarships worth £5,000, again, for international excellence. And we are part of the Great Scholarship Scheme in cooperation with the British Council. And finally, also part of both Commonwealth Scholarship Scheme and also Chevening. Terms and conditions to apply to our discounts and offers can also be seen on the website. So I hope that was useful for you. I know it was a whistle-stop tour. There is a lot more information you can find on our website or email in both either SIUK or this email address on here or my email address. I hope you found information useful and it sort of whet your appetite to look into Derby a little bit more. Okay, thanks. So now it's time for some questions.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, students, for also attending. Some really, really great questions. So it's going to be between me and Ravina, and I'm going to shoot a few questions at you, if that's okay, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. So the first question we've got from, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, Fatal. How does it work with the scholarships, and what are the conditions to get one?
Right, so the way the scholarship application, so it's a separate application for scholarship. So once a student has an offer, they submit the application, and basically it's based on your qualifications and a 500-word essay that's part of the application. So we consider all students for all scholarships. So the International Excellence Scholarship, which is £5,000 discount, through to the higher levels and even the Great Scholarship. We would consider all applications for those based on merit and how strong the applications are.
Thank you, Chris. I hope that was helpful. And then we've got another good one from Reba. Do you provide any courses for master's degrees in civil engineering?
Yes, we do. It's a very popular course, our civil engineering masters, and we have civil engineering as it is. We do it with transport, etc., that side of it. Then we have it with construction management, and we also have specialist programs in sustainable architecture and healthy buildings. So we're as an institution, being green, net zero is a key research area for us. And also finally, we do a building modeling masters as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And also we've got another one. This actually came through from the SIUK team. Do you offer a mentor/employment advisors on campus for international students, including visa support?
Yes, we do all. So the International Student Hub, CAS compliance team is contained there. They help with visa support, stuff like that. We have they're very helpful for students for everything really, but also we do have a specialist well-being section as well, helping students that might have anything from as simple as a good night's sleep or a little bit of homesickness through to more serious mental health issues. They're professionally trained, qualified people that can help students.
Amazing. I hope that sounds good to all of you. And then another one we've got from Daily. Do you have a graduate program in psychology or organizational development?
We do have both graduate programs in psychology, so things like health psychology, different areas of psychotherapy, organizational behavior, and we also have CIPD accredited MSc in human resource management as well. So it depends on exactly sort of what part of human resource management or personal development, etc., that the student is thinking about practicing afterwards, to pick the right master's program.
Thank you. And the next one from Louis, what are the procedures to study in Derby, University of Derby?
Right, so I get the best one is to apply through SIUK, I would say, but hope that was the right answer. But
yeah,
yes,
it was. Thank you, Chris.
But yeah, so we would advise you. We always advise students to apply through somewhere like SIUK. We obviously have partners in other parts of the world. They can ensure that you submit a complete application, that you have the correct documents. They'll also advise you on whether a course is suitable for your career aspirations. But obviously they have regular contact with myself and other members of staff at my university as well. So for international students, for masters, PhD, etc., you would apply directly to the university through the partner. For undergraduate students, you can apply through UCAS, but if you're an international student and you're applying through a partner like SIUK, then we would accept direct applications even for undergraduate as well. But primarily, you apply with a copy of your qualifications, including English language, your personal statement, and an academic or work reference. Some courses, for instance, the art courses, will of course require a portfolio. Some courses like nursing would require evidence of work, plus would have an interview component. And then some courses, like perhaps example would be performing arts, obviously would require an audition component. But we obviously allow for the fact that international students can't attend a lot of these things in person. So auditions can be done through videos of work you've done. Obviously, portfolios, a digital portfolio, and interviews would be done through Skype or Teams.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chris. And then I've got another one from Fatal. How long is an MBA, and do you have a marketing section?
Excuse me. So the MBA is a 12-month master's. We have 2 intakes, one in September and one in January. We have an MBA Global and an MBA Global Finance, and then we have separate MSCs in marketing and digital marketing. And we also offer an MSc in International Business with Marketing.
Perfect. And then we have another one about scholarships. Are there any available for students interested in forensic science?
Scholarships are not linked to courses, so anybody can apply for scholarship from any course. So if you're doing, an undergraduate forensic science degree or a master's in forensic science, or say forensic psychology that we offer, then you can apply for scholarship.
Thank you. And we've got 2 more. I hope that's okay, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got one from Asomi. Do you offer pre-registration nursing courses at MSc level? If yes, can I apply with a degree from any science background? Are you still accepting applications? That was kind of like 4 questions in one.
Right. So we have two distinct ways to qualify as a nurse through us. So you can do the full undergraduate degree, a 3-year degree. But what we also offer is a 2-year master's for students with other backgrounds, with other degrees. But what you need, and at the end of that, you would be qualified. You get your NMC, so it's a 2-year master's rather than a 1-year master's because of the extra training. So you can apply with any degree for that course, but you would have to have some work experience in the health industry. So basically, you could apply for a degree in any of the science backgrounds, as the student mentioned, as the applicant mentioned, but they would then have to have some work experience. So they would have to be able to evidence 450 hours work experience in a health environment. But the first degree is just as long as you get a 2-1 and you have equivalent to IELTS 6.5, then you meet the academics criteria, but then you have to evidence your work experience in the form of a portfolio of work.
I hope that answered your question, your questions, Asomi. By the way, thank you so much for all your questions. Absolutely loving the engagement so far. Keep your questions coming till we end, till we finish. So the next one that we've got is what are the requirements for international students to study child nursing?
Right, so I think I answered that question now. So if it's the MSc, it's, as I mentioned before, exactly the same. So we offer 4 routes of nursing. Adult nursing, which is probably closed now. I think it's massively oversubscribed. Child nursing, mental health nursing, and learning disability nursing, as well as a separate program in midwifery. So those 4 master pathways, same as I mentioned before, you can have a degree in another subject. You just got to evidence work experience, or we offer all those routes in a 3-year undergraduate degree as well, and that has the standard entry criteria of 3 A levels in our university's 3 Bs and equivalent. Only difference being, as mentioned before, you would need an interview for the nursing program as well, because we want to make sure that the applicant is suitable to become a nurse. Obviously, nursing, teaching, etc. It's a vocation. It's not just a substitute. So we want to know that the students have a passion for it, and they really are, want to do that as a vocation afterwards.
Thank you so much. Mohammed, about I think Chris mentioned that scholarships are not tied to specific courses, if that makes sense. But as he also mentioned, we've got a lot of counsellors in our offices that will be able to support you with that if you've got further questions about the scholarship program. So I'm going to skip that question. If there are no more questions, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Ravina to take over from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Chris, for the presentation as well. Yeah, I think you covered a lot of ground and answered a lot of the questions in the presentation in itself for the students. I just wanted to ask you, Chris, before we wrap up, if there's any final thoughts or anything that you'd like students to take away from this presentation today.
I guess it's 2 things I always say. Don't be afraid to ask questions, no matter how trivial you think they are. Always ask questions either of your counsellors or directly of the university. We're always happy to answer any questions. The other one is probably more of a logistics thing. If you're thinking of starting this September, you really need to apply now, and you need to check if courses are still open. So there are a lot of courses that are full at the moment this year due to growth in 2 specific markets, which I'm sure everybody knows which ones they are. But So make sure to get that application now as quick as possible if you're still interested in September. But alternatively, remember also when it comes to Derby, that we have quite a large January portfolio as well. So if you haven't got time to get into September or September's full, we run quite a number of the most popular programs in particular. So anybody who's interested in particular in, say, postgraduate business programs, postgraduate engineering, computing, we run all those in January as well. So don't worry if you can't get in this September. You won't have to wait another 12 months to be able to start to apply and study.
That's actually a really helpful tip. Thank you so much, Chris. And on a final note from me, just want to let all the students know this session has been recorded and it is now available on YouTube as well. So if you'd like to re-watch it, I've just put in the link in the chat box. You'll also receive this on email. If you'd like to apply to the University of Derby, you can contact SIUK at info@studyin-uk.com, or you can also contact the email that Chris has put in on the presentation. Thank you to all our students for joining us, and we wish you all the best with all of your higher education going ahead. Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Ravina. Just to say it's good luck with the new role. It's been a pleasure working with you over the years.
Yes, same as well. Thank you, Chris. Nice of you to say that. All right. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye.